From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
Hey, today I'm in Dallas, and right behind me, this is Dealey Plaza. Dealey Plaza, of course, most famously known for the area where John F. Kennedy was shot and killed. Right out in front of me is the X on the ground that marks the spot from the fatal headshot. You can see all around me here things that should look familiar, like the grassy knoll. And if I swing around this way, we've got the Texas School Book Depository building, where supposedly the lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, made that fatal shot from that corner window. Of course, the trees have grown up. Isn't such an easy shot nowadays, or was it easy then? Comment down below if you think that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, or if you think that there was other shooters, because you know, I gotta tend to believe that there was somebody over here on that grassy knoll. We've all seen the footage. The head goes back and to the left. Just don't think a shot could do that coming from behind him. But let me hear what you have to say, and I'm gonna go check out more of Dealey Plaza and gonna bring you with me. So I'm currently standing on what was known as the triple underpass or triple overpass. You can see right behind me here is the grassy knoll, right? And then you've got the Texas School Book Depository building right here. So it was roughly that window right there where they say that Oswald shot Kennedy. Those shots ringing out right here onto the ground are marked by X's on the road, and I'll show those here in a little bit. But could you imagine standing here as Kennedy's motorcade came down, took that turn, and then came right down here? And again, right about there is where that fatal shot hit him. They then proceeded under the underpass here and to Parkland Hospital. This area is where that all took place. I'm really surprised that they actually still have this here, that they haven't closed it off for traffic. If you're gonna keep it, you really need to close it down and let people walk out there a little bit safer. But I'm really surprised that there's even anything here. You would think they would want to just completely get rid of it and just wipe out one of the worst days ever for this town. But here it is. We can go and check it out and visit a piece of history, something horrible that happened here, but yet millions come to visit every single year. This here is the famous grassy knoll. They say, and a lot of people agree with them, and I do too, that there was another shooter right here behind this fence. As you can see, it's a pretty good view looking out. Let's take a look here. We'll come around. And walk right over where they say that shooter was. It's now a parking lot. Back then it was a muddy, just a muddy field for the train station over here. There was a witness that testified as he was working right there, saying that he saw somebody over here. He saw a puff of smoke from their gun, and then he saw him take off right after the shooting. He said that he saw him standing just right up here. Now you got to remember too, this was over 60 years ago. These trees have really grown up since then. And essentially, he was standing just right up here when that shot was fired, or so they say. See, people have left their marks. But right here, and if we look down, you could see a perfect line to where that X marks where Kennedy was shot in the head. Right there. So as we pull back, right between the trees, you can clearly see that somebody from this angle had an amazing shot. It was right here, right behind me, right there, where Abraham Zapruder stood when he made his famous film. And you could see right out in the street, right about there, is the X that marks where that fatal shot was, that killed John F. Kennedy. Yeah. Unreal to be standing here knowing what happened right here, almost 61 years ago. It's right here where Abraham Zapruder stood. And they took that now famous Zapruder film footage. As you can see, right out there is that X where that fatal shot killed John F. Kennedy. But what a great place to stand to have a view of everything.
They only do straight route. You know why? It slows them down to almost a complete stop. They're vulnerable, they're open, and they're blinded. You see the rifle sticking out of the window. So your kill shot was when he turned that corner. You could have hit him on the toe. That's turkey shoot. He's coming straight at you between the eyes. That's target practice.
I'm standing on the corner of Elm and Houston, and this is what used to be the old Texas School Book Depository building, where they say that as a lone gunman, Oswald, from that window right up there, shot John F. Kennedy. Now, it's a heck of a shot. If I turn around this way, you can see it was right down there, right about there, where he made that shot, they say. These trees, of course, have grown up big time over the last almost 61 years. I still just don't know that I buy that. So I'm gonna jump on this here trolley right there, and I'm gonna take the JFK tour around Dallas. I've done it before. It's totally worth doing, so I'm gonna do it again. So let's go.
But folks, had you have been here Friday, November 22nd, right here on Main Street, and if you wanted to shoot and kill the President of the United States, it would have been easy to do. He's in a convertible, in a mob of people in a high-rise city, going about as fast as we're going right now. Over at the trade marts, there are 2,600 men and women dressed in their finest clothes, awaiting the arrival of the President. 2,600 steak dinners have been prepared, and President Kennedy is going to select his steak every day. Now, folks, straight ahead of us, the building, that is the former Texas School Book Depository. We're going to take a left-hand turn as the motorcade did right here on Elm Street. When we make that turn, look up to the corner 6th floor window. Folks, this would be the last left-hand turn of President Kennedy's life. He just doesn't know it.
It's the second window on the top, on the right side. The window has a box in it. And what's in that box is a camera. And if you go to Earth cam and look up Dealey Plaza. There's a camera view onto the plaza right here. It has a little bit of a delay, so if you stand down here with your phone and wait till it gets to you, you can screenshot it on your phone, and then you got a picture of yourself standing down here like what Oswald was looking at. Kind of cool.
And up ahead on the right is the infamous grassy knoll picket fence. And right here, there's one of the shots right here.
Official President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Look up here on the right, this hospital up here. This is Methodist Hospital. This comes into play on November 22nd, 1963. The address is 1026, and this house looks exactly like it did 50 years ago. It is now 1:01 p.m. November 22nd, as Lee Harvey Oswald walked right through this door at 1026. He goes to the left side of that house to his room. He picks up a light-covered zipper jacket and his .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver. He is only in that house 1 minute. Then he comes back out here, and on foot, Oswald goes back in the exact same direction he just came from. But take a look at that little house, folks. On November 22nd, there are 16 rooms for rent. 10 on the upper level, 6 below in the basement. And I'm going to make a right-hand turn on this next street coming up. It's called Denver Street. Take a look at these houses. These are the houses that were here that day. These are the neighborhoods Oswald is making his way through. This is what 1963 looks like right here. Now, a Dallas policeman in his police car coming this way. His name is Officer J.D. Tippett. And Officer Tippett has very good reason to stop and talk to this guy walking right here on the sidewalk. Because one, he matches the description put out on the police radio from the KPD. And two, very suspicious that when his car came into view, that this guy suddenly just turned around and started going the other way. Now, nobody knows what was said, but I imagine that it was something like this. And it says, "Hey, what's your name? Where are you going?" Oswald leans over and he answers Officer Tippett through the vent window of the police car. And then Officer Tippett, he opens up his police car door. He steps onto the street, takes the gun out of his holster, walking slowly to the front of his car. And as he does this, Oswald takes 2 steps back and to the right. And just as Tippett is in the front of his car, Oswald reaches from under that light-colored zipper jacket, pulls out his .38 caliber Smith & Wesson, and he shoots Officer Tippett 4 times. And Officer Tippett falls dead on the street. Right there. So, folks, Jackson goes into Western Union at 11 a.m. He's standing in line. He's waiting his turn. He's not in a hurry. And they know he was there at 11:17 a.m. because that's when the MoneyGram was timestamped. He leaves the Western Union on foot, walking to the big building right up here on our left. But Ruby doesn't go into those front doors. He goes around to the side, and he goes down the tunnel. Because, folks, that tunnel leads down to the basement where the transfer of Oswald is being done. And right here is where the armored car was sitting, and this looks exactly like it did that day 50 years ago.
So as I said, I love a good guided tour. To be able to be driven around a town and told stuff about that town, especially when it's historical, is so much fun to me. They dropped us off here right back by the Texas School Book Depository building. And these steps right here are where Lee Harvey Oswald came out those doors that day, having supposedly just shot the president. He walks out free and clear, not in a rush, comes right out the front door, doesn't go out the back door, and he goes on his way. I don't know. I just don't think it was just him. I don't even know if he really had anything to do with it. That tour did nothing to change my mind, but I'll tell you this, that tour is worth taking. It gets you all over the area, points out several things in its hour-long trip, and it's just fantastic. One thing I can say about this area is that if you are hard of walking like me, you know, handicapped, I've got these braces on both legs, it can be a little tricky at places. It's uneven. As you can see, we got some cobblestone brick stuff here. The sidewalk that I'm currently walking on has a slant to it, so you're gonna wanna be careful, but it's worth doing. It's absolutely worth doing if you come to Dallas, to come down here and check this all out. And while I'm at it, let me point out that just off over here, they have a great museum. It's called the 6th Floor Museum at Dealey Plaza. It takes you up, shows you a whole bunch of stuff. Fortunately, they don't allow video, so I do have a few photos that I can insert here to show you of that. And then I got one last stop today. This is a replica of the rifle that they say Oswald used that day to kill the president. This is the suit that the police officer who was handcuffed to Oswald when he was shot was wearing that day. This is the nest where they say that he was when he made that shot. You can see the boxes supposedly just like they were that day. And this is the view out the window where Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly took that shot. I just don't feel that this tour would be complete without one more stop. So I'm going to go over and see Lee Harvey Oswald's grave. For now, thanks for coming with me. I appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. This is Lee Harvey Oswald's grave. It just simply says Oswald. He's buried in the Shannon Rose Hill Cemetery in Fort Worth, Texas. They will not tell you where his grave is, but if you ask for the grave next to his, for Nick Beef, there's nobody there. That's a long story. But if you ask for that grave, they'll tell you where it is, and then Lee Harvey Oswald is right next to him. Hey, here's another video for you to check out. And while you're at it, why don't you hit subscribe for me?